The employee retention tax credit is something that may be even better than PPP, EIDL, and unemployment. Also known as ERC, it is available to business owners who have employees on the books who are paid with W-2 wages. To be clear, we are talking up to $33,000 in a refundable tax credit back to your business. So if you're a business owner with employees, then you're not going to want to miss this. So you heard right. The stimulus packages made money available to business owners, and many became well aware of the intricacies for the PPP loans, which were forgivable loans. Even the EIDL advances or loans, many people went after those. But let's be honest, not many people are talking about the ERC, the Employee Retention Tax Credit. Now, honestly, I just think that's because when people hear the word taxes, they think things get complicated and they want to tune out. But please don't tune this out. You see, even if you have accountants are overwhelmed filing taxes and extensions. And if you have your payroll company, they're busy doing payroll. They're busy staying on top of the benefits and the healthcare packages. So you can see that there's this gray area and a complete lack of education. So let's break this down so you can understand it better. But before we do that, please drop a little like down below and let's help spread the word on this amazing opportunity for business owners. So back in March of 2020, the government introduced the Employee Retention Credit. And it was around the same time that many business owners were being told to close up shop, or they were partially shut down. Maybe employees had to be let go, and then you were trying to keep them on the books, paying them even though they essentially weren't working. And so the government said, we're going to reward those business owners for retaining their employees, and we're going to give them up to $33,000 for keeping those employees on the books. Now, you heard me right. So let's do some simple math. If you're a company, even with just 10 employees, and you qualify for this tax credit, we're talking up to $330,000 back in your business's pocket simply because you filed the right paperwork for a program that many people still don't even know exists. And no, this is not a loan. The money isn't conditional, like it has to be used a certain way. And as of right now, there's no cap on funding. So if you had 99 employees, if you had 4 employees, no matter how many W-2 employees you have, this is worth looking into. Otherwise, you're just leaving money on the table. Now, of course, I want to cut you some slack because when this was first announced, there were restrictions. For example, you couldn't claim this and get PPP. But this has changed so many times now, and that is no longer the case. If you got PPP, you can still apply for this tax credit. And I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like it's simple to understand, but it really is just filing some qualifying documents to the IRS and then letting them catch up with the backlog. Whether it takes 3 months or 6 months, all of a sudden a check arrives and it's yours to deposit, and it's money that can go towards your business. So please, again, don't tune this out thinking you're not eligible simply because it's too complicated or it involves taxes, because I'm going to go over a breakdown right now of how you can qualify and what you need to do just to see if perhaps you want to go through with applying for this tax credit. Now, the IRS documentation is over 200 pages long, and knowing what qualifies, how much money you're going to be getting, it can just be kind of overwhelming, and again, you want to tune it out. So that's maybe why you haven't already heard about this from your accountant or your payroll company. So I'm going to leave a link down below in the description to a company that I've partnered with, the good folks at ERC Specialists. I have vetted them, I've talked to the CEO, and they are dedicated to helping small business owners find these tax credits and file the proper paperwork in a timely manner with the IRS. It's of no cost to you. If you get the credit, then they take a small fee. And so again, I'll leave that link down below in the description if you're curious right now. But let's dive into the requirements of what would make you eligible and even a few things that might disqualify you depending on how your business is set up. So the first thing I want to tackle is, how do you know if you qualify? And there's actually two different criteria for determining if you qualify. If you meet one, then you qualify. If that one doesn't work, you can try the other way. So the first way to qualify is simply if your business was impacted by all the government mandates due to COVID-19, be it shutdowns, maybe you were a restaurant, for example, and you could only be at like half capacity. If at any time during 2020 and or 2021, because this credit applies to 2020 and 2021, that applies to you and your business, then you probably qualify for some money. Now, the second way you may qualify has to do with gross revenue. I've talked to some business owners who are actually doing better than they were in 2021 compared to 2020. But let me stop you right there. What they want you to do for 2021 is to compare each quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, for your gross receipts to 2019. So if you have at least a 20% reduction in your gross receipts for 2021 compared to 2019, then you would qualify specifically for that quarter. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, going back to 2020, there's some qualifying as well. And for 2020, they're looking for a 50% reduction in your gross receipts compared to 2019. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath, right? If you had a reduction in 2020 compared to 2019, this is worth looking into. If in 2021, any quarter, you had a reduction compared to 2019, then this is worth looking into. And if you are not sure if you meet that reduction qualification, you can go back to that other qualifier which says that your business was partially or maybe even fully shut down at some point due to government mandates. So as you can see, there's a lot of balls in the air, a lot of things floating around. I want to get you in touch with the people who know all the magic words to say, all the right paperwork to file to help get you this money. Because to sum it all up, you can get for each employee in 2020 about $5,000. And then in 2021, they go quarter by quarter. You can get up to $7,000 per employee per quarter. So you got 4 quarters times 7,000. You got $28,000 in a tax credit per employee for 2021 and a possible $5,000 per employee for 2020. And that's how we get to up to $33,000 per employee for this ERC tax credit. Oh, and this isn't just for essential businesses. This isn't one of those deals where your zip code or your area code or a minority business or veteran-owned business. This is available to all businesses. And I just want to reiterate, it's businesses with W-2 employees on the books. So let's talk about, are there any cons to this ERC? Is there something we're not thinking of or addressing? And the answer is not really, okay? We're talking about a tax credit, and taxes get complicated. Of course, there's nuances. So I'm going to kind of address a few of those right now. I mentioned earlier that this might be more beneficial than PPP. And yes, you can still get ERC if you got PPP. However, there's no double dipping of the funds. So if you used PPP to pay your employees 1 quarter, then you're not going to qualify for the ERC tax credit during that specific quarter. You can't double dip at the exact same time. Also, unfortunately, this is not available to my sole proprietors, to my independent contractors out there who file a Schedule C. For example, if you own your own company, even if you're the only employee and you pay yourself or you even pay a relative, this also excludes you as the owner and relatives, people that are close to you in your business. However, everybody else who has a business with W-2 employees on the books, you may qualify for this money. So a couple of key takeaways, and I'm going to keep this short. If you're a business owner with employees, you may qualify for a tax credit that unfortunately your accountant or your payroll company hasn't even made you aware of yet. Please don't sit there thinking, oh, this is too good to be true, because if you were affected by the government mandated shutdowns, if you kept employees on the books, if you had any sort of gross receipt reduction in 2020 or 2021, then you probably qualify for some money. Again, I'll leave a link down below in the description to the good folks at the ERC Specialist, and their sole purpose is to look at your paperwork, file it with the IRS, and get you this money. I got to tell you that the backlog right now is at least 3-4 months with the IRS, and I've heard that that number is going up by the day. Of course, the IRS is going to be backlogged once more and more business owners find out about this. However, in 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, when that money comes around, this is going to be well worth it. So please, again, even if you're just a little curious, check out that link down below in the description. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.